So I'm glad that so many of you are here, and at the moment you are all muted, because just to keep everybody muted, that means there's no background noise from anybody. So that you're all muted at the moment. So you have got opportunity of asking questions in the question box, and I've just mentioned to you and shown you how you can actually put those questions in the question box. And I've got Suzanne Barnett on the line, so if you want to say hello, Suzanne.
Hi everybody, thanks for inviting me to come along tonight, Eileen.
Good, thanks. And Suzanne's my special guest this evening. You're going to hear a little bit from her later on. So I'll just ask you to switch off any phones, applications and other distractions that you might have going on, because it will affect the quality of the webinar you're receiving. And I've got an awful lot of information to get through this as well. So by the end of the webinar, you will have discovered why the alkaline diet is really not like any other diet you might have heard of or been on in the past, and how you can actually get started today, this evening, first thing tomorrow morning. So what is it all about then? So I'm going to tell you how the alkaline diet has changed my life and a little bit more about what it actually is, because when I first heard of the alkaline diet, I didn't really look into it. I didn't want to know anything about it because it sounded a bit too complicated, a bit too scientific. So I spent quite a long while not even looking into the alkaline diet. So, and once I did start on it, it has literally changed my life. So the alkaline diet, so what does the word diet mean for you? You just think about that for a moment, because it means different things to different people. Does it mean misery and pain and suffering or cravings as you start yet another diet? Well, diet is actually derived from the Greek word dieta, which actually means a way of life. And that's what the alkaline diet is. It is just that. It's a way of life. It's a lifestyle. Oops, let me go back up. Sorry, it's a lifestyle. Now, most people actually associate the word diet with losing weight and not actually as a way of life. And as such then, the alkaline diet means it's great for people that are at their ideal weight, so for people that don't have to lose any weight or gain any weight, but you might have some other health issues going on. You might have headaches and all other things going on, and I'll talk about those as well in a moment. But anytime I mention the alkaline diet to people, they say, oh, what do you do? I say, oh, I help people with the alkaline diet. The first thing that often comes out of people's mouths, like people that don't have to lose weight, is, oh, it's not for me then, I don't need it because I don't need to lose weight. So it is really associated with weight loss, and it's not really the case, and you'll find that as we go through the webinar this evening. So Dr. Robert O. Young, now Dr. Robert Young is widely recognised, you can see here, as one of the top research scientists in the world. He's based in America. And with his wife, Shelley Young, he's done lots and lots of research, over 20 years worth of research using blood samples, and it's become very evident that acidic foods really do clog up the blood, and alkaline foods keep the blood flowing. Now, I want to talk a bit more about that as we go on. So he's done many years of research. He's written some books here, and when I was first new to the alkaline diet, when I read the books, it seemed quite complicated, some of it, but as I've got more and more into it, they make a lot more sense. I've got the one for weight loss, and I'm just starting the one for diabetes. So they're books you could always get if you want to have more detailed information, because obviously he's a scientist, so it is more detailed. And as I say, the alkaline diet is actually based on years and years of extensive microbiological work that Dr. Robert Young has done with blood. And due to that research, that literally thousands of people have since transformed their lives and their health since following an alkaline diet. It's classed as a new biology, and Dr. Young puts it really simply. He says, over-acidification of the body is the single underlying cause of all disease. And that's really quite a powerful sentence, but it's also very simple. So he's saying about over-acidification is really the cause of everything that's going on in our bodies, any sickness or illness. Now, our body naturally does have acids in the body, naturally, for digestion and all other processes the body goes through. But it's when it's over-acidic, when there's too many acids in the body that we're putting in our body, we're going to talk about that in a moment, that is what's the cause of problems. Now, old biology, and then we're talking about Louis Pasteur in the 1800s, he said that disease comes from germs which invade the body from the outside. And what Dr. Young has found is that when the body is in a healthy alkaline balance, germs actually can't get a foothold. And it is all to do with the acids in the body. So I'm going to make the alkaline diet simple, because you don't need to know all the science behind it, because there is science behind it. Like I say, Dr. Robert Young is a scientist, but you do need to know some of it about why, what is it, and what does it all mean. Now, this is a scientific bit. The pH blood balance for a healthy body and to have our ideal or optimum weight should be at 7.365. Now, when I first heard that, I completely switched off, and maybe some people have done that right now, because I know I did, because it just sounded, oh, it's going to get so complicated. So if you just stick with this, so you can see on that little scale there, you can see to the left-hand side, we've got an acidic range, and that's the pH balance is 0. And on the right-hand side, it goes to a completely alkaline state. We need to be in the middle-ish there, so 7.365. And when our blood level is at that correct pH balance, we will be in natural good health. We'll be at naturally good weight as well. And I can just explain it. It's like most people are aware of our body temperature, and that needs to be balanced at a certain level. And if it's too low or if it's too high, we can be sick. We will be sick. And in some cases, we can be very, very sick. And it's the same as our temperature going up and down. It goes up and down when we're not well. And that's the same with our pH blood balance. If it's out of balance, if we're too acidic, then it means that we're not going to be in the best of health. So that's simply how the alkaline diet works. It's about getting our blood balance correct. And like I say there, the balance of our blood needs to be regulated, just the same as our body temperature needs to be regulated too. Now, most people are acidic and need to be brought back to the middle, back to that neutral balance of around 7.365. So what makes us actually acidic? So, okay, there's a little test here. So which of the following is acidic? That's the unhealthy version. And which one's alkaline? That's going to be healthy. Well, okay, the burger meal, the burger, the chips, the Coke, that's acidic. And the salad is alkaline. But you don't have to live on salads on the alkaline diet. So really, it's not rocket science. There's a science behind it, but it's not that complicated. So I'm sure from that pictures you've got the right answer there. So all foods will be alkaline or acidic, and I can tell you how you get a foods chart by the end of this session. So an acidic lifestyle is what causes our body to get out of balance. And a Western diet over the years has become very, very acidic, and that is the problem now. We've got fast foods, we've got takeaways, there's fatty snacks, microwave dinners, they don't look very nice, fizzy drinks, sweets, chocolates, ice creams, all them. Caffeine is also acidic to the body. Alcohol, smoking is acidic. Lack of exercise, just lounging around and see people here, that's acidic to the body. And also stress, and stress plays an important factor in our lifestyle. And if we're too stressed out and chronically stressed, it can also make the body acidic. And of course, you know, with stress comes other problems of not being well. It brings its own problems. So you can see from here the Western diet has now become very, very acidic, especially all these foods. And that seems to be all we see about in the papers lately, or the things I'm watching out for. I think Burger King have just bought a burger out that's nearly 1,000 calories. And just before Christmas, Starbucks had what I call a posh coffee, a latte that was, I think it was about 800 calories or something, and it was full of fat, it was full of sugars. So more and more, a lot of the shops that we're going into, the foods are very, very acidic, and people are becoming more and more addicted to a lot of these acidic foods, and also an acidic lifestyle. A lot of people seem to be very, very stressed, rushing around all the time, and they're becoming more and more stressed month in, month out, and that's no good to the body either. So what are the effects of an acidic lifestyle? You've seen some of the foods and some of the lifestyle of acidity. Well, the first one is being overweight. That's one effect of an acidic lifestyle. There's also much more to that. There's low energy levels, being constantly fatigued. The amount of people I meet that say they're just tired even when they wake up in the morning. They feel they've had a lot of sleep, but they're still constantly tired. And that's very, very common nowadays for people. Acid reflux or heartburn. I meet a lot of people, and these are a lot of people that are at their ideal weight that really suffer a lot with heartburn. Always catching colds, flu, and everything else that's going around. And I was just thinking today, because I've got a few members of my family that have gone down with coughs and colds and croaky throats, and I've just been alkalizing for just over a year now, and in that time I've not had a cold or a flu or anything else like that. And I know normally in the space of a year I would have had at least one really, really bad cold with a really bad cough, and I've not had that. And anything I've been doing different is I've got more of an alkaline lifestyle now. Anxiety, stress and depression, they're effects of the acidic lifestyle. Having fragile nails, weak hair, dry skin or acne, that's one of the things that got me onto the alkaline diet, because there was somebody I knew who had a real bad skin. Do you remember that woman, Suzanne? I stand on the line somewhere. She might.
Yes, yeah, I do.
Her face,
I do remember.
Yeah, her face was much worse than this woman's face in the picture here. It was so red. It looked very painful, and it was just covered in bad spots and everything. And within 6 weeks of being alkaline, her face was completely clear. Only the fact that I'd seen this woman and saw her those few weeks later, it was like a miracle. It really was. It just completely cleared her skin up. Headaches. Headaches are also an effect. Indigestion. And just sick and tired of being sick and tired all the time. You know, you see people saying, oh, I'm just sick to death of feeling how I feel, you know, lethargic and tired. And much more besides. These are just some of the effects of an acidic lifestyle. So let's say what's in your shopping basket. Because when I go shopping, I've started now looking more at what's in other people's trolleys or baskets. And maybe you might do the same. Because it really does show at the beginning of this webinar, there was a picture up while you're waiting to come on about you are what you eat, and that is so true. Because if you look at people's shopping baskets, let's put one here. You've got a little child in a trolley, and it's full of rubbish food. It's full of snacks and crisps and things in there, juices or something not very good for anybody. And so the person behind that trolley is more than likely going to look tired. They're going to look overweight. They probably even look depressed. And the next time you go shopping, just have a look and notice that, because I know I really notice that now. And if you've got somebody who's got a healthy basket or a trolley with fresh foods in there, fresh vegetables, the person behind that basket or trolley, they're more than likely going to look energetic. They're going to look vibrant. They're going to have clear skin. They're going to just look fit and healthy. And that really does show the difference between people's shopping and you are really what you eat. I'm going to say what's in your sandwiches, because today I put a thing up on Facebook and I was absolutely astounded when there was a school up in Lincolnshire, I think it was. They were doing spot checks on the children's sandwiches they're bringing in, and they found a child, and here it is, with Smarties. Smarties are chocolate sweets. The child has Smartie sandwiches because that's apparently all the child will eat, and it's absolutely ridiculous. But this is what's happening now in society, where children are becoming so obese because they're not being brought up with healthy foods. They don't know what healthy foods are, and they get addicted to sugars and cravings like that, and they end up eating Smartie sandwiches. It's quite unbelievable, but that is what's happening. So the good news is you can rebalance. So I said earlier, a lot of people will be acidic from eating some of them foods and the lifestyle. But you can rebalance your pH levels. You can get from that 0 on the scale, the acidic side, to being alkaline. And the way you do that, first of all, you need to be drinking more water. You need real good hydration. Most people are in fact dehydrated and don't realise they're dehydrated. They often mistake it for hunger, and they just eat more food. In fact, they're thirsty and not drinking actual water. I do meet people that don't ever even drink a glass of water. They fill up on fizzy drinks or diet drinks or squashes and things, but it's actually just water you need to be drinking. And eating more alkaline foods. There's a selection of some foods here, and obviously they're in their raw state, but they don't have to be raw. You can cook them. You've got a green shake here, some beans and pulses, fresh vegetables, and a salad. Now I've got lemons here, and a lot of people think lemons are acidic, and the lemons are acidic but when they're digested, when you actually consume them, they become alkaline. So lemons and limes, and you can put those in your water to make your water alkaline. So having lemons and limes as well are really good for you. And of course, exercising. Exercising will also help you rebalance from being acidic. So it's those three things. It's drinking more water, eating more of the alkaline food, and exercising. It's common sense, really. So making changes. So did anyone groan when you realise you've got to make some changes in order to change your health? Because sometimes people, they want the changes, they want to be healthy, they want to get rid of the headaches or the backache or the belly fat, but they don't want to make the changes. Well, in the words of Anthony Robbins, and for those of you that might not know Anthony Robbins, he's actually a motivational speaker in America, and he's a big, big fan of the alkaline diet. He lives by the alkaline diet. And in the words of Anthony Robbins, he said, if you do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always got. And that's just so true, because you can't make change, you can't get the results without making some changes. So you have to change what you're doing, and that will mean changing some of your diet. Somebody has asked a question in the question box about how you can check your pH balance. You can buy pH strips. I can send you a link later. On Dr. Young's website, there'll be other websites out there that sell them. You can buy some pH strips. You can test it with your saliva or with urine, but the urine one is supposed to be the most effective way of doing it. So you can buy some pH strips and test it that way, and you'll see if you're acid or alkaline. But you'll know, when you get the food list, you'll know whether you're eating more acidic or more alkaline foods. So I'm going to talk about cleaning the fish tank, and this is what Robert Young talks about in his book. And it's about clearing out our fish tank, which is our bloods and our fluids in our body. Now, our internal fluids do need to be looked after, just like the fish tank needs to be looked after. We've got a dirty fish tank here, and obviously the fish swimming around aren't going to be very happy in that fish tank. It's all grimy and dirty. It's not very nice. Now, our cells and our organs and the fluids transport our food and around our body, and it also gets rid of waste from our body as well. Now, if we've got too much food, and especially too much acidic food that we're taking in, it clouds our waters, it clouds our internal fluids, so it ends up looking like the fish tank. It's not nice and clean and healthy looking. And so the alkaline balance becomes acidic, because when we're born, we are born at the correct pH balance level. So over time, that balance becomes more acidic. And chronic illness can also occur. Now, what happens with our fish tank, our fluids, when we've got too much food, when we've got too much acidic foods, some foods actually goes undigested. Some foods will putrefy and they'll start decomposing in their body. And it's not a very nice thought of that, but it is like this dirty fish tank. Our insides are becoming really dirty, and toxic waste builds up. As the acid waste, it's building up, and that's when the unbalance occurs. Now, our bodies will do what it has to do to try and keep that pH balance where it needs to be. And one way it does that is by creating fat around our organs. Now, it's not good to have the fat, but what that fat is doing is protecting our organs from the over-acidification of our body. It's protecting it from the acids. So that's why people will put on weight, because they've got too much acid, and the body will create the fat to protect our organs. And with chronic illness, now one major symptom of being over-acidic is actually fatigue. And that's a very, very common thing. So, and people can get chronic fatigue as well. So you can clean your fish tank out, eat the right foods, have the right drinks, do some exercise, and then you'll be lovely and happy, like this little fish is in his nice clean fish tank. So it is about thinking what's going into your body and what are you doing to your internal fish tank, say. Now I'm going to talk about the 80-20 rule, because now you might be thinking, oh my goodness, you know, I don't think I can do that, because when you get the acid and alkaline foods list, some of the foods on there is things like meat, cheese and dairy products, and they're in the acidic range. But you don't have to give all these things up. And I'm going to talk about the 80-20 rule now. 80% of your food and drink you have should be alkaline, around that. We don't have to go exactly, but it's going to be around that, which means it's going to be the majority of the food and drink you have is going to be alkaline. And 20% of your food and drink is going to be acidic. So you don't have to give all these things up. You don't have to become a vegetarian, because often people think they've got to become vegetarian. You don't. But if you're eating huge amounts of meat and a little bit of veg, what you need to do is over time gradually switch it so that your meat portion becomes smaller and your veg or salad becomes the bigger portion. So for some people, you might just have to tweak your current diet. You might have quite a healthy diet. There's just some things that need a bit tweaking. For other people, you might have to make some big changes. Excuse me. Excuse me. And that's why with Alkaline Diet Success, I help you make that transition from being acidic to being alkaline, because you can't do it all at once or all overnight if you have a very acidic lifestyle. And most diets don't do this transition. They don't do any transition. If anyone on the call has been to a Weight Watchers class or any other slimming club, you'll know you'll turn up, say, this evening, they'll give you your diet sheet, and then tomorrow morning you'd go away and you have to change all your foods and you have to start exercising. You do everything all at once. They don't make a transition to say, take it in simple steps. So when you do a step-by-step process, when you make changes more gradually, then you're going to create new healthy habits, and those things will stay in place with you for life. And that's why this is a lifestyle, a way of life, and not just a diet. It's not something you're going to start and then finish. You're going to gradually get into the process of it and stay with that. And over time, your taste buds will change, and mine changed. And I didn't believe that when I heard it. I thought they can't change just like that. And my taste buds did change very quickly, actually. So some simple steps to success. So with the alkaline diet, you will eat in abundance, but of course it's going to be the right foods. You don't have to restrict what you're eating. You will eat the right foods in abundance. You will eat every few hours. It's like stoking up the fire. It's keeping that fire going. You will always feel satisfied. And your calorie counting days are over. You don't need to be counting your calories. You don't need to be weighing out how much you can eat. And you don't need to track and note down everything you eat. Those days have gone. With the alkaline diet, you don't need to do any of that. And there are still lots of slimming programs out there where you do have to make notes and write down everything you're doing and keep food diaries and everything. And it does work for some people, but for a lot of people, they just don't do it. And I know I used to go into it with enthusiasm, and after a few days, it'd wear off. And if I didn't do it for one day, fill out my sheet, then it would go into the next day. And it just didn't work for me. So it doesn't always work for everybody. And you can also throw away your weighing scales. Now, most people, if you've got weighing scales, you probably won't if you're used to getting on the weighing scales. But the weighing scales become an issue with people because people become a slave to their weighing scales. And I'll talk about that in a little while. And you will also regain bags and bags of energy, vitality, and great health and well-being. And I've never felt better. And I've been on other diets before because it is the foods I'm eating. It's the right foods, they're fresh foods, and it just gives me that real energetic lifestyle now. I sleep better, I wake up earlier naturally, and I just feel fabulous, really, and I want everyone else to feel the same. So while I say step by step, taking things gradually and not making all your changes at once, why I say step by step is best, and I'm going to talk about this magazine article or this headline here in a little moment, and you can see it's Pauline Quirke. She's saying how she had to learn to eat again. So I want to talk first about why I believe step by step is best. First of all, it's easier to make changes if you're doing them slowly. You're not doing everything at once. It's easier to keep on track if you're just making simple changes. It's also easier to get back on track. So if you do have a bad day or a bad weekend or you've been on holiday, and that word bad is what often people do use, oh, I've been bad this weekend, I didn't, you know. It's easier to get back on track on the Monday morning or when you come back for your holiday because you're making just slow changes. It also allows good habits to form, and I've really found that really helpful for me. And then new healthy habits will stay with you for life, for that lifestyle. Your bad habits didn't happen overnight, so they're not going to go overnight, and that's what a lot of diets expect you to do, to change everything on day one. and your taste buds will gradually change, so you won't want the things that you might want already at the moment, the acidic things. Say if someone's drinks, I don't know, diet drinks all the time, as you start eliminating them, your taste buds will gradually change. When you won't want those drinks anymore, you will crave having the water with some lemon. And I didn't think that would happen, but it did happen to me. And the first thing it happened to me was with coffee. After about 3 weeks even, I just couldn't bear the taste of coffee, and I've never drunk a cup of coffee since, because I don't like the smell of it, I don't like the taste of it, and I just don't want it anymore. And that's the best way to be, because it keeps you on track for life, and you're not wanting the things that are the acidic things anymore. And that's a book I recommend people get. It's called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And you can see the heading there says Secrets of Successful Life. And that book is not just about weight loss, it's about life in general, relationships, careers, and all sorts of finances. And what The Slight Edge talks about is about doing things step by step and making small changes. If you do them consistently, then you will get big results over time. It's got a compounding effect. So if you're making small positive changes to your health, your diet or exercise, if you do that consistently, then over time you will get the good results you're looking for. If you make the negative decisions or the choices, like the burger meals all the time, if you keep on making those, over time you're just going to have a negative result. And that's a really good book to put these things in perspective. So I do recommend people get that book. Now, why I've got Pauline Quirke on here is this magazine. You can see she'd lost 8 stone. She did it using a meal replacement, some drinks and shakes. And I think she was on about 500 to 800 calories a day. So obviously she's going to lose weight because she's hardly having any calories going into her body to sustain her. But she actually ate no real food for the whole of, I think that was in 8 or 9 months. She didn't eat no real food at all because it was just the shakes. And why I bought this magazine was I was interested to see what she had to say about she's got to learn how to eat again. Now for me, I'd much rather be eating and changing my habits over 8 months than just having some liquid, because personally I like my food too much to not eat anything at all. And also it becomes, you can't socialise so well because you can't go out for dinner and make a good choice. You just don't eat any food for you while you're on that program. So she's got to learn how to eat again. So I will be keeping an eye on Pauline Quirke just to see how does she manage now, because she's got to start eating foods again. I'm assuming her calorie intake will have to increase because you can't stay on 500 or 800 calories forever. It's just too little to survive on. So see how she sustains this. I mean, I wish her the best of luck, and I hope she does keep her weight down because she was very, very heavy. So I'll keep an eye on Pauline Quirke. And I've got some before and after pictures here just to show some differences. So there's Pauline Quirke before she started, and here she is afterwards. She looks completely different. She looks absolutely amazing. Like I said, I do wish her the best of luck. She was very heavy. She knew she had to lose weight for health as well, her health reasons, and also for just moving around generally. And here's another actress, Ruth Jones. If anyone watches Gavin and Stacey, she wrote it and she starred in it, and she's absolutely hilarious, like Pauline Quirke is. I love both of them. Now, Ruth took a completely different approach. She wanted to lose weight, and she just basically got down to calorie counting, and she knew she had to reduce her calories. She was looking on the packets of food she was eating and just reduced her calories. And in 2 years, she's lost 4.5 stone. And this is her now. She looks absolutely fantastic. And she still says she needs to lose a little bit more weight. She still feels she's a bit overweight. The differences are there is that Pauline took 8 months to lose 8 stone. That's a lot of weight to lose on a fast, a quick fix diet, I call them. Where Ruth took a more steady approach. She did take a step-by-step approach and still lost her weight over a couple of years. And she's doing it far more sensibly, and she's more likely to keep her weight off. Pauline's only just lost her weight, so we'll just see how that progresses with Pauline Quirke. So I just found that quite interesting. And also what Ruth Jones did, I think it was about 3 years ago, or 5 years ago, I think she stopped drinking alcohol. Then once she got used to that, then she stopped smoking, and she started that step by step, and then she had to tackle her weight. So she's done it in a very sensible way. So it's taken her a long time, but she just looks absolutely fabulous now. And she's done it the right healthy way. I'll talk about what a difference 3 weeks makes. So this was me when I first started alkalizing. Now, I didn't realise at the time I was going to be showing this to the whole world, more or less, because I didn't know I was going to go into business, helping other people. And that's how the alkaline diet has changed my life. I now help other people to do that. So this is me when I started, and that's just 3 to 4 weeks later. Now, I know my hairstyle is different, and I haven't got my glasses on, but I can notice, and there was a complete difference in my face, where underneath my cheeks is not so fat, and my face didn't look so puffy looking. But the fact that I was getting my hair done and I was putting in my contact lenses, it just showed how much better about myself I felt, because in the first picture I didn't feel that great about myself. But 3 to 4 weeks later, I just felt I could feel the changes already happening. And what about 12 weeks? I was on a 12-week program. So these are some jeans that were very, very snug. They were tight, basically. They were size 18. And for me, I'm quite short, so size 18 wasn't very good. And you can see the inches I've lost. Now, here, just between my T-shirt and my jeans, I think there's a bigger gap. I think that T-shirt could have fitted in a little bit better. So I lost quite a lot of inches. Now, bearing in mind I started before Christmas, 10 days before Christmas, so I had Christmas and New Year in between. So I lost a lot of inches. So for me, it was like a miracle, and I just felt fabulous. So this is 4 to 6 months into alkalizing. When I started, I had a real pronounced bloated tummy, and I just felt awful. I just had backache. I felt drained of energy. I couldn't get out of bed hardly in the morning. I would drag myself out of bed. And, you know, 4 to 6 months later, I can't remember exactly when that picture was taken. Again, I was just taking them for my own benefit to see my progress. I just felt fantastic. I feel I've got more energy. I felt lighter in my, well, I was lighter. I just felt fantastic. So that's before and after. I'm going to bring Suzanne in now. You still there, Suzanne?
I am, yes.
Yes. So I just want Suzanne. Suzanne's a good friend of mine, and we were business partners. And Suzanne knew me when I had that big bloated tummy, and we went out shopping to get some clothes, to get them size 18 tops and skirts, and I just felt so low and depressed because they were just about fitting me, and I knew the next size was going to be a size 20. So you've seen how I've changed, and then you can say a little bit now because you started taking some of the alkaline principles on board and what results you've had.
I did, yeah. Well, first of all, when just to reiterate what Eileen said there, when we went out shopping that day, it was before you'd come across the alkaline diet, and I remember the whole point of the shopping trip was to actually get you to feel better about yourself, really, to find something that you felt good in. And it did actually have the effect that we wanted, because we did eventually find something, but it was like pulling teeth, really, wasn't it? It was a very painful experience for you because just nothing would fit. And I think there was also the shock factor that you had gone up, you know, to a larger size, and you just didn't want to be that size at all. And it was, you know, partly that obviously gave you the incentive to do something about it. And sometimes you need one of those epiphany moments that really make you think, oh, enough is enough now. And she's had great success, absolutely brilliant success. And I have to admit, for me, I haven't really I didn't take it on board to start off with at all, because to me, again, I just had this idea that the alkaline diet was a diet to lose weight. And I didn't feel that I particularly needed to lose weight. I've always been quite slim. But what I found is that over the last, oh God, probably about a year or so, I have gradually had a decline in how I feel within myself. I felt really tired. Last year I had 4 months worth of colds, just one on top of the other. I don't know if you remember that, Eileen. Yeah. Just one on top of the other continuously. I had a lot of stress. I separated from my husband a while ago, and there was a lot of anxiety and stress around that. I started to get headaches like you just wouldn't believe. And I'd become someone that I couldn't be bothered with exercising, I couldn't be bothered to eat healthily. It was just whatever was in the cupboard, quick, easy stuff to do. But all the time I've got Eileen in the background just getting healthier looking and better and more radiant, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm just looking sadder and older. And I think I made up my mind. I just saw that Eileen was doing so well, and I thought I have got to make a difference to my life, because I had actually put on weight for the first time ever in my life. I put on just over a stone of what I prefer to be, and I was beginning to look really uncomfortable in clothes. A lot of my normal clothes, they just wouldn't fit me. I was squeezing into them. I had gaps, you know, like between my boobs, and my skirts were tight so that they were rolling up, and I just felt hideously uncomfortable. So I'd been listening to bits and pieces, and I have to say now I haven't taken everything on board as far as alkaline dieting is concerned. But what I have done is I've taken some of the information that Eileen's fed to me over the last few months, and I've taken the bits that suit my lifestyle. And I think predominantly I've followed the 80-20 rule. Mm. I mean, the first thing is I drink a lot of water anyway, but I started to really take notice of how much water I was drinking. I drank a lot more water. I cut out alcohol, because I was actually getting to the point of drinking 2 to 3 glasses a night easily. So I cut out the alcohol completely. I also am a breadaholic. I absolutely love bread. So I cut that out completely. I cut out chocolate, and I cut out cheese as well, because if you give me my favourite meal, it would be bread, crackers or cheese. And what I did instead is I started to eat more of a vegetarian-based diet. And sometimes I didn't really know whether this was alkaline or not, and just checked in with Eileen every now and again, and she said, yeah, that's fine, or yeah, that's not so good. And I only really started this 3 weeks ago, like I say, and I have, when I think about any kind of diet, if I have to count calories, if I have to measure and weigh, if I have to read all the labels on a packet, there is no way that I'm ever going to stay motivated to do it. I just know that of myself. So I just did things like a lot more salads, but made them interesting salads. I do have meat occasionally, but I probably have, out of 7 meals a week, I have 5 of those are vegetarian meals and 2 are meat-based meals. But I've actually really enjoyed cooking again, which is great. Now I've lost in 3 weeks, I've lost 8 pounds, and I've lost 25.5 centimetres all over.
That's just phenomenal. The inch loss is just amazing, yeah.
The loss in the size is just amazing, and I can really see it, and I'm getting back to my old sort of figure that I used to have. I exercise as well, because suddenly I was eating in a better way. I was obviously cutting out the alcohol, and just those little things, which is often what we talk about, don't we, Eileen? It's just making those little steps to start off with make a big difference, a massive difference. Yeah. And then it started allowing me to have the energy and the will and the motivation to start exercising. And that has also made a big, big difference. And trust me, when I first started, I felt like every single limb on my body was so heavy, too heavy to even move. And now I'm exercising for 30 minutes every single day and loving it, really enjoying it. And it's all down to Eileen. Keep talking to me about it and giving me massive support and suggestions of wonderful menus and everything else. So thank you, Eileen. That's been brilliant.
Well, that's good, yeah. But when you see them inches coming off like that, and that's what I was saying earlier about the scales, when people go to what I call traditional slimming clubs, the first thing everyone does, they pay their money, they get their little card, and you queue up to get on the weighing scales. And that's the thing a lot of people, they just dread, because they just want to get that few seconds over with, because they think, I wasn't good at the weekend, I'm going to put weight on, or I'm going to stay the same, or even if they lose 1 or 2 pounds, for them that's not enough. Now, if you see 1 or 2 pounds of fat, if you see a packet of lard, for instance, that is a lot of fat to lose, 1 to 2 pounds, and that's what you should be losing. But people get obsessed with the scales. No, I used to be obsessed with the scales. There's so many other measures you can do, and I don't mean just measures like measuring your waist size and things like that, but it's like, is your skin getting better? People after 6 weeks were saying to me that my eyes were sparkling, and I think I did get that look back where people say my eyes stand out now, where they've gone dull and dark, and they had really, when I look back on photos, they had. So it is other things, you know, I used to have a really niggly backache. My backache went quite quickly. And I know people will have headaches, the headaches go, acid reflux will go. So there's so many other ways you can measure success rather than just getting on the weighing scales all the time, because the weighing scales may not change sometimes, but other things will be changing, like how you're feeling, like your energy levels. I was dragging myself out of bed at 8:30 in the morning, and now I'm awake before 6 o'clock even, and I can't wait to get up and get out and take the dog out, because I've got that energy. So I've got that energy I need to use up, and that was the difference for me.
Yeah, you've just reminded me of something actually, Eileen, if I may. I haven't had sort of any alcohol, as I said, and at the weekend I had a glass of wine, and it was literally just a glass of wine. Well, the next day I woke up and I felt like I had a raging hangover. I really had a bad headache for most of the day. So I think that my system has actually obviously detoxified, and it's got cleaner and everything else. And then having that one glass of wine sort of tipped it over the edge. Probably not quite ready for a glass of wine yet, so we'll leave that one for a while. But it's just making those little bits of changes made a big difference.
And that's a good point to make, because that's what I'm saying about doing it step by step and not making all your changes at once, is because if you are very acidic, I'm going to show you how to get this acid alkaline food chart in a moment. If you think you are eating and drinking mostly acidic, if you stop that immediately and go switching over straight to alkaline, it's like Suzanne just said, you are really detoxing your body. Your body is the best detoxing machine ever. You don't need to go and buy detoxing powders and shakes and things. Your body will do it as long as you're eating the proper foods. So that detoxing effect, if you do things too quickly, you can end up with some side effects that detoxing gives you, which is headaches, and maybe like a feeling of a cold, like a runny nose and things. So that's why you do it step by step as well. So thanks for that, Suzanne. So I was going to say, so if anything's following or bothering you, things like weight problems, and that's underweight or overweight, acid reflux, back pain, headaches and migraines, constant colds and flus, catching everything that's going around. I mean, I see so many people say, I'll just catch everything going, and that's due to having a low immune system. Being acidic will give you a low immune system. Having irritable bowel syndrome or other digestive disorders, eczema and bad skin, candida or yeast infections, acne and bad complexion, fatigue or lethargy, all these are acidic, depression, low libidos, lacking in energy, and having afternoon dips especially. And feeling older than you really are, you know, do you feel like you're older than what you are? Being alkaline will actually slow down the aging process, so that's a great benefit. And again, just being sick and tired of being sick and tired. Does any of that, you know, relate to what you're feeling maybe? So you can start now on the alkaline diet. So you make a transition. You do it step by step. You don't make all your changes at once. And this is from the, you know, small changes, small positive changes will give big positive results. And that's what the book I was telling you about, what I say, The Slight Edge. He talks all about this, making small positive changes to get those real big results. Following the 80-20 rule, you can take the first step to success now. You can get a free report plus an acid alkaline food chart, and I'll show you how to get that in a moment. And you will get to your health goals. And you can be healthy, energized, and happy and fit. Now, are you still confused? Maybe you need a helping hand to get going. And before anyone thinks I'm selling anything, I'm not selling anything. What about a coach to help you? Someone who's been there, done it, and got the T-shirts in various sizes. That's myself. Now, even sports people have coaches to keep them on track and keep them focused, because that's what they need to keep them, say, being at the top of their game. So I'm going to start running a 29-day challenge for the month of February. So instead of 28 days, it's leap year, we've got 29 days. So it's a 29-day challenge. So it's going to be a private Facebook group. You're going to get loads more of alkaline diet information, because it's too much to go into in a webinar. There's lots more to the alkaline diet than you'll get in the report and that you can get in this webinar. So I can drip feed you lots more information. And like Suzanne said, it's just picking out the bits that suit you. You don't have to do the whole of it because it'd be far too much to do in 1 month anyway. You'll also get support and motivation from other group members. There are already people signing up, so you get support from those. And just dip in and out whenever you can. So I'm going to be running that. So you've got nothing to lose apart from weight, some inches, acne, depression, lethargy, and I'm going to go through all these things, all them things. So I'm going to just see if anyone wants to sign up for the challenge. So I'm going to run a quick poll. So that should come up on your screen in a moment. A poll. Let me launch that. All we need to do is, if you want to take part in the challenge through a Facebook group, just click yes or no, and then when people click yes, I'll have your names in a report that I'll get from the webinar, and then I can add you to the Facebook group as long as you're on Facebook and it's under that name. I can contact you. So I'll just let that go for another minute and a few seconds, and I'll close the poll. So if you want to come on the challenge, you're on the challenge, aren't you, Suzanne, I think?
Yeah, I'm coming on, definitely, because I still want to, I want to actually learn more about it as I go along, and I want to keep introducing different recipes, and I've got some tips as well that I can give from my own experience, so I'll be on there, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm going to be doing some videos, I'm going to be doing recipes and things like that, and I'll be giving some recipes where you can cook your dinner in 10 minutes, and I've done it, and it is 10 minutes, and that's just fantastic. So
yeah, and I've tried some of those as well, and it's right what Eileen's saying. They're just, you know, 10-minute long recipes. It's lovely.
Yeah, that's great. Right, brilliant. So everyone who voted for the challenge. So that's fantastic. With more people I can add on.
Yay. So
now to go and get your acid alkaline, go and get the food chart, and there's also a free alkaline diet report there. You can go to www.alkalinedietsuccess.com. All you do is sign up for that. You'll get an acid alkaline food chart. So you can start looking at that before the challenge starts in 2 days, 1st of February. And just get a feel for where you think you are on the chart and where your foods are. There's also an alkaline diet report that you can pick up there. It gives you lots more tips about being alkaline, so you'll have a little head start. So it says there, yes, you can do it, yes, we can. So as a group, it's much better to do things as a group. You know, more people are more likely to stay on track, and you know, you've got some support there. Oh, let me go back up. So that's where you get your report from. So I don't know if anyone's got any other questions before we leave. I think we've just about been on the hour, or just under an hour. I say it's recording, so I can send the recording out in the next day or so. And I don't think there's any other, no one's got any other questions. That's fabulous. So what I'll do, I'll find you on Facebook, all of you, or I'll contact you by email if I can't find you, to get your Facebook details. And I'm looking forward to getting started on the 1st. It's quite exciting, 29 days. As I say, I'll send an email with some information to you on some of the rules of the alkaline diet. And as long as Suzanne said, just pick the things that suit you, that you can fit into your lifestyle. Because when people try and do too much, they go into too much overwhelm, and they feel it's not working, and they just give up. But if you just pick one thing or two things that you think you can fit in, you're more likely to do that one thing, you know. And in a month, you can make some big changes in a month just by making small tweaks to what it is you're doing now. So, okay, there's no questions coming in. So I just want to say thanks again for everybody for turning up to the webinar and taking some time out. I hope you found that useful. And if some of it has gone over your head, you will get more uses as we go through the month. Because, like I say, first of all, when I first started, a lot of it did go over my head. It was too overwhelming. And it is just by sticking with it and doing small things that gives them results. So I'll be looking forward to sharing your alkaline diet journey with you, and I'm really excited about that. So I want to say thanks again, Suzanne, for being on and sharing that information. That's really helpful. And like you say, you can share some of your tips and that with people on the group. So lovely. So someone said that was useful. What do we pay? You don't pay anything. It's free. I'm just doing this because I want to take people through the month of February. It's usually about now where people have made New Year's resolutions to get fit, get healthy, lose some inches or whatever, and it's just about now that it's all completely gone out the window and where has January gone? I can't believe it's 1st of February in a couple of days. So it is really just to help people to understand a bit more what the alkaline diet is, and to support people for, you know, 1 month to see how they find it and what changes they can make. So it's completely free, and that's it. So okay, I'll oh, someone's asking to get a friend to get on the challenge. Yeah, what I'll do, I'll send everybody the link to my alkaline diet page. You can put some information, you can put your name there, or they can put their name on there, and I'll add them to the group to start on Wednesday. If it's a day or so later, it won't matter. So okay, so I'm going to say goodbye once again and say thank you once again. There's no more questions, but you'll have my email address anyway, because if you go onto that website, you can find my email address there. If you've got any questions, you can always email me or catch me on Facebook anyway. So thanks again for coming, and I'll speak to you soon. Good night and have a good evening. Bye then.